Welcome to Wheels of Fortune. This morning we're down in Liverpool. We're here to see a guy who a lot of you bikers will know from a couple of years ago. We're here to see Gary Rothwell. So we know you do a lot of stunt riding. How did stunt riding start and how long have you been at it?
Well, years ago, my mum and dad used to actually have a shop at the post office, and I think I was maybe 16, might have even been 17 at the time, and I actually had a Kawasaki Z650, which I rode on the road, which I obviously shouldn't have done. I was a bit daft at the time. I had a GT 185 before that, so my dad was always into motorbikes. I obviously love motorbikes. I used to be able to wheelie my Z650 through the gears, and even at the time now, if you sat on one now, it's like an old dinosaur, Joe. You wouldn't even think you'd be able to wheelie one, but I could. And so I went from there. I had a GS1000, Z1R and stuff, and it was in 1992. I was in the Isle of Man TT. I used to obviously know Nick Colton from West Coast Motorcycles, knew him really well, and he knew obviously what I was like on a bike. We were outside Bushies in the Isle of Man TT, which was obviously a famous bar. Thousands of people used to go there. The police would be patrolling it, but people used to stop, girls with the boobs out, whatever. And anyway, guys are stopping, putting the feet down, doing a burnout or little wheelies. Crowds are going bananas, and I'm watching. And Nick actually said to me, get out and go and show them how it's done. And I said, no. I said, I'll end up getting nicked. And he went, no, go on, get out. So he's trying to blag me. And so he said, well, if you get out, I'll pay. If you get nicked, I'll pay you fine. So I went, go on then. All right. So I went out on my Z1300, which, as I say, at the time, it was obviously the biggest bike what you could get. So I went out. Only revved it up a bit, I think. I mean, someone might even have the video one day. If anyone sees this and they have got a video of it, I'd like to get it, because that was the start of it, really. So, as I say, I went out, started doing a bit of a burnout. Crowd went bananas. Done, obviously, a figure eight or whatever. And as I could hear the crowd screaming, because even if it was me watching at the time, I think there was only Arto Nyquist at the time who could actually do wheelies and feet up burnouts on a Z1300. So anyway, the police come walking over to you like they did. They wouldn't run and try and grab you. They just wanted you to ride away, basically. So as they come walking over to me, done a bit of a wheel spin away into a wheelie, which, as I say, it must have looked amazing at the time, really. Crowd screaming. 20 minutes later, I'm in the crowd, stood next to Nick watching, and I get a tap on my shoulder. Turn around. I haven't even got I've got no helmet, no coat. Policeman says, Sergeant wants a word to you. And I'm like, me? Yeah, come with me. So anyway, goes with him. Goes into this incident van, obviously like a ride van, whatever. The sergeant said, yeah, you was on a motorbike before. Where's your bike? I said, I haven't got a bike. And he said, well, not stupid. He said, you was on a bike before. Where's your bike? I said, I haven't even got a bike. And he went, oh, put him in the back. So anyway, spent the night in the police cells. Got a fine the next morning. Nick paid me fine, got out. After that, Performance Bikes magazine were asking me, well, they weren't asking me, sorry, but we used to do at the local pub called the Hawthorne on the TT course. Me and one of my friends, Ian McGinnity, he had the Eddie Lawson Z1100, I had the Z1300. So we'd go to this pub, I'd do feet up, burnout and wheelies, whatever. And we only went there a couple of times, and obviously it must have spread like wildfire, and there was hundreds of people coming to this pub of a night time. Performance Bikes magazine got wind of it. Come and ask me, would I come and do a photo shoot for them? So they ended up having me in the stop box in the TT. Said, do some burnout in there. I'd done it. Someone from the TT come over and they were fuming that obviously I'd done some burnout in the stop box. And the next issue of Performance Bikes come out, which I've got somewhere, and it's obviously show pictures of me where they actually say subscribe to Performance Bikes magazine. It was a full page of me doing a feet up burnout, and then they've done a couple of other little pictures. One where I was wheeling a mini moto. You could hire the little mini motos, rent them in the stop box, whatever, in the pits, and I could wheel it the little end of the straight. So anyway, they said, this is Gary Rothwell. He can do this on a Z1300, this, that. He'll be a star in years to come. You've seen him first in Performance Bikes magazine. And when I read it, I was like, oh, that's sound, that. And straight away after that, we got asked to do a show at the Day of Champions, Donington Park, before the GP, 500 GP. I went there on a GSXR 1100. Nick gave me a GSXR 1100. We put high bars on it. I still had a Z1300. I didn't even have no show routine or anything. We went there obviously on the Wednesday, I think it was. The show was on the Thursday. We went round the back of the track and basically learned a show. You know, I was there with one of my mates, Carl Pedder, and my brother, Brian, and whatever. What can we do? How am I going to last 20 minutes, half an hour on a show? So that's where I basically learned how to do stoppies. Obviously, sitting on the tank. You know, I hadn't even done some sitting on the tank wheelie. So I learned it all the day before. And then went and done the show on the Thursday. And actually in the show, although my dad, he's always had motorbikes and stuff, they didn't know what I used to ride like. They come to watch the show and it had been raining. So my dad's walking up the pit lane, walking up the steps to actually watch me. He didn't even know I was out there. He seen one of my mates and he said, "Where's Gary?" And he said, "Eddie, he's out here now." So as my dad looked over the pit wall, I stood on the seat doing probably 80 mile an hour on GSXR 1100, doing a wheelie. And I say my dad was into motorbikes and he just thought I was in the middle of killing myself. And he turned around and grabbed my mum and went, "Whoa, come down here, let's go down." So he shuffled my mum away because he thought, we can't obviously go and watch our son kill himself. So that was it. That was the first show. Straight away the phone started ringing and it took off from there. It was only a year or two later, ended up in America and everywhere. So that was the start of it.
Yeah. Well, I've been doing a bit of research. I'm not a stalker. I've been doing a bit of research last night, and it turns out your wife joined in with you as well on these stunt shows.
Yeah. Well, I used to practice at Speak Airport, which is gone now. The old airport's gone. So when I started doing shows, I was on Top Gear, stuff like that with Steve Berry. So I used to practice at Speak Airport, and at the time, her brother Tony used to get on the back of the bike with me doing shows. You know, we've got some pictures when we were in the TT Ramsey Sprint and whatever. And so he used to get on the back with me. And two lads on the back of a motorbike. I thought, it looked a little bit gay anyway. So at Speak Airport, sometimes people would be there watching whatever, and they'd want to get on the back, do some fast wheelies and whatever. And Joan at the time, obviously, had started going out with her. She got on the back of my bike, done 80, 100 mile an hour wheelie, come off, and usually people would get off and you'd say, "Put your hand out," and they'd be shaking. And she gets off and walks over and talking to her sisters and stuff like that. And I thought, she's got a bit of potential here, I thought she would have been screaming her head off. But actually in the show, so anyway, so she started getting on the back, and we'd started obviously doing stunt shows together. And although she was sound at the time, we used to half argue, in between the show. If she was, say, like, with her head looking down the back wheel, lying on the handlebars, whatever, I couldn't really hear them. But when she used to be sat on the tank with her legs wrapped around me, and I'd do a wheelie, as I put it down, she'd be tapping me side, let me off, just bugging me to get off. So I'd be talking to her saying, "Shut up, will you?" Halfway through a show, I'd say, we'd be arguing back and forth. "That's it now, let me off. And we'd done that for years. No one probably knew that. I mean, we should have actually had microphones, because I think the crowd would have been very
I can imagine
at what was going conversations going on.
It would be comical to listen to you at the same time as doing it. So the stunt riding, it takes you quite a few places around the world. I've seen a few bits of your different countries all over the place. What's the furthest you've been?
Japan, Australia, obviously all around America. I've done shows in America for 7 years or something. We had a motorhome over there, and obviously truck and bikes and whatever. Loved America. At the time, really, I should have put in for my green card. I probably would have ended up living there. I would have made a decent living out of that. But at the time, my wife didn't want to move over there. And then when she decided she did want to move over there, it was basically, I think, the boat had sailed, and it was starting to fizzle out. So that was it. But yeah, Japan, Australia. Australia was good. It was the 500 GP, I think it was. But they worked us to the bone. As soon as I got off the airplane, they picked us up from the airport. It was me and Jocelyn Haas, who was a French stunt rider at the time. Joss was really good. He picked us up, took us to the hotel. I think we got to the hotel at like 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. They wanted to pick us up at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, say, to go and do a press, bits for the press at the track. I don't even sleep, so I couldn't sleep on the airplane. So I'd been up for basically 24 hours more, whatever. Got to the track, I was doing bits and bobs. I nearly actually fell off, but Josh did fall off. He didn't hurt himself. And as I say, for the week what we were there, they just worked us to the bone. We didn't get to see anything. It was freezing. Even on the show, it was raining. So I thought Australia, you know, it was a bit of a hike, not really something I'd want to go back to. Really, I think we actually had a 10-year visa or something or whatever. You know, they give us a visa to go over there, but didn't ever go back. No.
Cool. It's a place I'd love to visit, but obviously as a tourist, not working.
Yeah, I'd like to go over there, and as I say, you need to spend a month, at least a month over there, because it's obviously a vast place. I'd love to get a motorhome and travel around, but it's not somewhere where you want to go for a week or two, because I say 2 days of travelling just takes it out of you, really.
Sounds good. I was wondering this the other day. Have you ever been approached to do like films, things like that, as a stunt rider?
Yeah, I got asked. One was actually called Tomb Raider, and it was Lara Croft. So the phone rang anyway. Someone asking me about, you know, stunt riding and stuff. Yeah, does your wife ride? And I said no. I said she can ride a motorbike. Not good. We need a woman to do this, you know, for a movie. It's going to be obviously a blockbuster movie. And I said, I don't mind wearing a wig and a pair of tights. I said, I'll do it. And he said, well, I was too big for the part. And they ended up getting another guy who I knew called Craig Jones. He was obviously a small guy. He ended up putting a pair of tights and a wig on, and he'd done it. And another one, it was Mission Impossible. I got asked about doing that, and it turned out they'd done it in Australia, and they ended up getting another guy who I know, Matt Mingay, who's got the biggest, best stunt show in the world, really. You know, he's made loads out of it. He ends up doing it for Mission Impossible over there. I've done obviously TV things in the past, you know, double them for people, but nothing serious. But I would have loved to have done something like that, you know, because that's it. It's there for life, then, isn't it, on movies. But
yeah, so it's a good on your CV.
Loads of people who I know have actually who've done it. I've just, for some reason, never in the right place, you know, right time. Even you think, you know, in America, you know, I thought it might have kicked off over there, but they ends up just. Obviously, there's loads of stunt riding in movies now, but no, I never got asked to do it.
No,
for some reason.
It's mad, isn't it? But I suppose your CV is going to look good anyway, no matter what you did.
There's even James Bond films. There was one come out years ago, and I think he was on a BMW, and the girl was on the back, and she ends up spinning around facing him. So she sat on the tank like Joan used to do, and he'd done a wheelie. And I'm watching it, and I thought to myself, that's basically, they've just robbed what me and my wife have been doing for years, and they've put it as a stunt in a movie. But I didn't get asked to do it. You know, someone else obviously done it, and there was loads of things. You know, Ghost Rider, you know, the one where he burst into flames and stuff like that. I can't remember his name, but
Nick Cage.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage. Yeah, you know, he's on the freeway and he's riding along doing stoppies next to the car and sitting backwards and all stuff. And I say it does cheese you off a little bit really when you think, I started it all in America. Basically, I didn't started it, or I did start it in England and stuff. And as I say, you know, the boat sailed. No one actually asked me to do them. Other people got the chance, and I didn't. So
yeah. I suppose you can put credit to you. That's my idea.
Yeah.
It's not worth it's not worth anything, but
no. As I say, I mean, you can always say, yeah. Well, obviously, I started doing it, and people have copied off me. But I would have rather
been involved. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. Right. That machine behind you, your little 500 horsepower.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about
that. 540 horsepower, built by Holeshot, Jack Frost, who's, in my eyes, he's one of the best turbo builders around. He's there at meetings to help you. You know, there is other people who can make them look shiny and stuff like that, but I think with Jack's knowledge over the years, you're not really going to get many people better than him. So yeah, he built it for me. 540 horsepower. You can turn it down. Just a little switch on the side. Anything from probably 350ish to 540. I had it built to try and get the world's fastest wheelie back again, because in '99 I done it with Patrick Firstenoff, who's Ghost Rider. Many people don't know. So yeah, in '99, you know, there's a bit of controversy. He ends up getting it 191 mile an hour. I got 190. Ever since then, I wanted to try and get it back, but I never really liked the way the wheelie record was, you know, was classed. Basically, it was a pop-up record. You only, you know, lifted the front wheel up at whatever speed. You only went for about 40 foot, and that was it. It wasn't really a wheelie. You know, drag bikes do that over a quarter mile. So I wanted to try and do it. For years, I was saying it needs to be a longer. You should keep it up for half a mile or whatever, quarter of a mile. So now the actual record's over a kilometre. I got it built, and as I say, in 2015, I was the first to do over 200 mile an hour for a kilo, and a month later I got 209 mile an hour, which was the world's fastest wheelie. And then in 2018 went back again, got it to 218.6 mile an hour, something which I think myself on the right day, it seems that when I actually go there, there's no big tailwinds. Other people who have actually got it now, Joe, they've always been a decent tailwind, and it does help. And I've said, right conditions, I know that'll do a 225 mile an hour wheelie for a kilometre. So anyway, I got it at 218. A day or two later, I got a phone call off a photographer who was there saying he's been told it wasn't official. And anyway, cut a long story short, the people who run the event said it was only a practice event. I obviously wasn't happy. I spoke to them. I had all the press cuttings to say it was a proper event. And I said to them I'd never do another one of your events again. So it was all, same distance, same spotters, same timing gear, same event. Everything was exactly the same, but they said it wasn't official. So, as I say, it's for sale. Can't really ride the fact, well, you can, but it's pointless me having it, really, because I only built it for the fastest wheelie. I would like to get to America and do it. And I would still do it, if there was somewhere in the States to go and do it, I'd fly it over there and I'd go and do it, because, as I say, really, I would have liked to have got it to 220, 225, and I think that's pushing the boat out, really. You're not really going to get much faster than that. Even 5, 10. And years ago they said 200 mile an hour sounded ridiculous, but when you got 400 or 500 horsepower, it's pretty easy. You've only got to look at my YouTube video where I've done the 209. There's a camera. Obviously, you can see the back wheel, the chain, and it flicks to a camera on the tank. I just short shift it, get to 6th gear just at the start of the kilo, and if you actually look at the video, you see I basically just give it a little blip of the throttle. It's doing 140, 150 mile an hour. It just lifts. You've got to keep it as low to the floor as possible to obviously accelerate in the distance to try and get to the faster speed. And yeah, as I say, I got it to 209 on that one. After that, I got 218. I haven't rode it since. But if anyone is out there, want to do a TV program or whatever, I'm game. As I say, 225 is the main number. Flog it then, and I'll happily retire.
Have you any idea what it'll do riding normally, speed-wise?
Well, Jack's built quite a few of these kits. Ted Brady, who actually holds who holds the official record, which is now in the Guinness Book of Records, I believe, this year. So he's going to be in the 2020 book, which is good, really, because Patrick Firstenhoff, I call him. He's been in it since 1999, and as I say, it wasn't even a proper wheelie. It shouldn't have been in it. People have broke it since. So now Ted's in it. I'm obviously happy. But yeah, as I say, I would like to get back over there and try and get the record back if I could. As I said, I'd be happy and I'd sell it then.
Yeah, cool.